What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know about this year's Clash of Champions pay-per-view, including a big makeover for Roman Reigns, has Asuka's star sunk, possible returns, new matches, whether Retribution will strike at the show, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 1. Roman Reigns' big makeover. Now, fans may get to see Roman Reigns' new look at Clash of Champions, as the new Universal Champion recently revealed he's going to adopt a new look, wrestling without a shirt, getting a new entrance music, and adopting a sort of mafia persona. Reigns talked to a fan via Zoom, and according to Wrestling News' Paul Davis, Roman's fans should expect a new render after Sunday's Clash of Champions. Reigns' match against his cousin Jey Uso should give our fans a better idea of Reigns' new attitude. Be sure to look for our upcoming predictions video as well as our detailed analysis of the show this Sunday. Number 2. Randy Orton wins the championship for the 14th time. Now, Clash of Champions could be Randy Orton's moment of triumph after victory eluded him at SummerSlam. The Viper has been working hard to crush Drew McIntyre since his defeat at the biggest party of the summer, delivering 3 punt kicks to the WWE Champion and laying him out again on the Go Home episode of Raw. Right now, there are still rumors that WWE wants to put the championship on Orton so that he can defend it at WrestleMania 37 in a huge marquee match against Edge, making it a full trilogy. Still, there's no telling whether Vince McMahon will pull the trigger on Orton's 14th World Championship, as sometimes it's difficult to believe he's only got 13 world title reigns, as Vince has been more mercurial than ever, so don't rule out a scenario where Drew somehow retains. Number 3. Roman's rage. Look for Roman Reigns to unleash the heel side that fans have been clamoring for. Although the Island Chief did a good job showing his brutal nature when he won the Universal Championship at Payback, get ready for some cousinly carnage as he beats Jey Uso to within an inch of his life during their title match. What better way to show the fans that Roman Reigns is a heel than by having him absolutely annihilate his own flesh and blood? The problem with that is that Jey Uso isn't a beloved babyface, so it's just as likely the WWE will get behind Reigns, cheering him on as he batters his cousin. Number 4. The party's over at the Lucha House. The Lucha House Party have been finally doing more than counting the lights for opponents, getting a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match against current champion Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. While this might not seem like a good time to test the Lucha House Party's ability to perform at a championship level, the WWE seems determined to turn Kalisto heel, which lessens the chance of a championship win for Gran Metalik, Kalisto and Lince Dorado. Don't be surprised if Kalisto goes out of his way to get into the match, leading to further problems between the talented trio. Number 5. Lince Dorado unmasked. One possible twist to watch out for within the Lucha House Party match is Lince Dorado unmasking, or worse yet, being unmasked at Clash of Champions, leading him to pursuing a singles career. As noted in a recent news video, Dorado unmasked with his back turned to the camera and posted a cryptic message on Instagram saying goodbye. It's all but certain that the WWE wants to repackage him, Dorado and Metalik, and Clash of Champions seems like a good venue to do so. Number 6. More tag team turmoil. The WWE has a problem with both its tag team championship matches, teams competing who are barely holding themselves together. While the Lucha House Party's looming breakup has been more subtle, the WWE has been hammering fans over the head with the idea that Angel Garza and Andrade can't get along and are headed for a split. That would seem to make the Street Profits Raw Tag Team Championship defense an afterthought, as the Andrade and Garza team will finally self-destruct, with the Profits retaining and their opponents beginning their one-on-one feud. Now, the WWE have booked themselves into a real mess here, as Andrade and Garza have repeatedly come up short against the Street Profits when the titles were on the line, and if they're being split up, they should have put another team in against the Raw Tag Team Champions. This isn't just lazy booking, it's an example of how one brand doesn't know what the other brand is doing with its storylines. Number 7. Has Asuka's star sunk this low? The WWE Universe is wondering what's going on with Asuka's push. First, there's been the unlikely selection of Zelina Vega, who's been managing for most of her time on Raw as Asuka's opponent, and second, the Empress of Tomorrow is defending the belt on the Clash of Champions pre-show. Have they lost faith in Asuka as Raw Women's Champion in light of these two factors? It's difficult to tell whether WWE is going with Zelina Vega. As we've mentioned in previous videos, Vince McMahon is reportedly a big fan of Vega's work, which is why she's been on Raw so much. Vince even sees her as a young Stephanie McMahon. That's a hell of a compliment coming from Vince. Now, while Vega has wrestled before and is considered a competent performer, it's odd to see her going from manager to #1 contender in such short time. Of course, they've been struggling to find an opponent for Asuka as Shayna Baszler was paired with Nia Jax to win the Women's Tag Team Championship, while Natalya's planned match with Asuka simply never made it past the planning stages. Vega may be just someone like Jey Uso is meant to kill time for the champion until a more suitable contender can be found for a bigger event such as the upcoming Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. As for the pre-show, the WWE's aired plenty of Women's Championship matches on the pre-show before, so that shouldn't be seen as the WWE looking down on Asuka. Nevertheless, their inability to book strong opponents against Asuka is a reminder that WWE doesn't know how to book its women unless they happen to be members of the Four Horsewomen. Number 8. Out of sight, but not out of mind. Don't count on seeing the Fiend at Clash of Champions, at least not in any significant role. Although Bray Wyatt is one of WWE's hottest acts, it would be a waste of time to have him show up at Clash of Champions unless the WWE decides to go with the Fiend versus Roman Reigns right away, which we certainly doubt and which a number of news sites have reported won't happen until late in the year or early next year. Nevertheless, the Fiend's presence should be felt as Nikki cross-battles Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. As fans know, Nikki's friend Alexa Bliss has been slowly falling under the sway of the Fiend and even entered some sort of horrific hypnotic state on the 18th September SmackDown. While we don't know what this means in the long run, it can't be good for Nikki Cross, who has been trying to free her friend from the Fiend's ever-growing grip, and it's likely Alexa Bliss will play a role at Clash of Champions without the Fiend actually being there, although we shouldn't rule out a surprise Firefly Funhouse episode. Number 9. Peyton's place. Although the WWE booking for the women's division has been hit and miss, they have an excellent opportunity to insert Peyton Royce into the finish of the Asuka vs Vega match, possibly setting up a short program between Vega and Royce while determining who will battle Asuka at Hell in a Cell. Vega's interference in the Asuka vs Royce match on the 21st September Raw is all the reason Royce needs to interfere. And number 10. Retribution's role. Retribution has been keeping a low profile at WWE pay-per-views, presumably because the WWE doesn't want the group to overshadow the events. However, with the 5 members of Retribution signed to the WWE and rumors flying that the WWE is building up to a main event at Survivor Series pitting Retribution up against a WWE team, we might start to see Retribution interfering in matches. Believe it or not, but Survivor Series is just 2 months away, and while the WWE never had problems waiting until the last minute to book shows, Clash of Champions would be a good venue to show the group's interference, even if it's with a backstage attack or match run-in. Now, are we going to see any surprise debuts? Now, one name that keeps coming up for the WWE debut is Tessa Blanchard, the #1 free female agent in wrestling. There have been lots of talk about Blanchard arriving in WWE, and it's clear that she's in-ring ready as she's already appeared on the indie circuit. The big question seems to be whether Blanchard signs with WWE or AEW, although any promotion with deep pockets shouldn't be ruled out. If she chooses the WWE, it would make sense to put her on Raw where she can battle Asuka over the Women's Championship, as opposed to SmackDown where fans are likely to see Sasha Banks and Bayley battle over the Blue Brand's women's title for some time to come. A Blanchard debut at Clash of Champions would be the kind of big surprise the WWE likes to unveil at pay-per-views and add some life to Raw's women's division. But while she could be a surprise debut, could we see any surprise returns? Every pay-per-view always brings a chance for a surprise return, as there are almost always at least 1 or 2 wrestlers cleared for action. You'll no doubt recall Roman Reigns' big return at this year's SummerSlam, and believe it or not, there are some potential big returns as well as some minor returns. These names include Kofi Kingston, Robert Roode, and possibly even Lars Sullivan. From our perspective, it's unlikely that Roode or Sullivan will return at the pay-per-view as they lack the star power to make an impact, but Kofi Kingston seems like a possibility, as hinted at in recent interviews that he plans on talking to Roman Reigns about aligning himself with Paul Heyman. If Reigns snaps against Cousin Jay, we might see the Dreadlock Dynamo make the save, setting up a Roman vs Kingston program. As we've mentioned before, they want to hold off any Reigns vs Fiend match until as late as possible, with the Royal Rumble or even WrestleMania 37 a possibility. Although if The Rock is free to wrestle Reigns at the 2021 Showcase of the Immortals, count on seeing these two slug it out in a dream match. But there you have it guys, the wildest news stories and rumours you need to know concerning 2020's Clash of Champions pay-per-view. What do you guys think of these stories and rumours? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.